All right, let's get started with the test prep. Section 1, rules and regulations. We're going to start with the basic FAA stuff. This is stuff you typically just have to kind of memorize. There's nothing too complicated about it, but you definitely will be tested on a lot of this stuff. And these are the easy questions. Typically, like, oh, I get that, I know it. Bang, move on to the next one. All right, but let's talk about license and registration. So, drone registration basics. We'll start with registration first. So, the FAA requires that drones be registered. Okay, so you have to log in with them, go to their Drone Zone website, and I'll show you that website in a second. So go to the Drone Zone website, pay $5 on your credit card, and you are given a registration number. That is like the one here, FA3CY, blah, blah, blah. That is like the tail number on a Cessna. It uses a unique number that identifies your drone, and more specifically, it ties that drone to you. So if your drone ever crashes in the highway, causes a big car accident, police officers come pick up the drone. They know who owns it, right? So it kind of keeps us honest, and I think it's a good system. So I guess sort of like registering your car, registering your drone. So pretty straightforward. Just go online, get that. Once you get your drone, your first drone, go register it. There are some caveats to that. If the drone weighs less than 0.55 pounds, we'll talk about that in the future. You don't have to register it. It is too light. It is considered a toy. If you're going to use that light drone, like a DJI Mini, those are all 0.55 pounds. If you're going to do it professionally, you still have to register it. That's something that people don't quite understand. That as professionals, people that are taking money in any sense, we have to register our drones no matter what size they are. So, in any event, registering your drone, you have to put that label on the outside of your drone where you can get at it without tools. So theoretically, you can't open it up, put the drone number on the inside and close it back up. You could put it inside the battery case if you wanted to. I wouldn't do that. I put it right on the outside like you're supposed to. So that's that. So like I said, if someone comes across it and needs to know who owns it, they will be able to find the pilot, right? So another random number to think about, the minimum age to register your drone is 13 years old. So you're going to learn you got to be 16 years old to take the test and get your license, but to register a drone, you only have to be 13. I don't know why, but that's you got to be ready for the test. So, 13 years or older. This is the FAA dronezone.faa.gov website. So you'll go there. Pretty simple to set up an account. You've done this before, and once you do that, you'll find the button that changes every now and then. So, sure you can figure that out. We've all done this 100 times. So go there when you get a drone and register it up. All right, license basics. We are trying to get this blue card up here. That's the whole point of this course. So this is a remote pilot license. That's technically what we are, or what you will be when you pass the test. They'll send you this card in the mail. You only get one in your lifetime. You have to renew your license every 2 years. And take a recurrent test. I'll talk about that in a second. But in terms of regulations, you need to have your license on you when you fly. Like a driver's license, you have to have it on you. You can take the test when you are 16 years old or older, and good for 2 years. And then you have to take the recurrent test. It used to be another sit-down test, pay another $150 at a testing center. They asked pretty much the same questions with the exception of weather and some things. They have since changed that, made it an online exam, and it's free. And it's a good way for the FAA to make sure that you understand any new regulations that have come out, and make sure that you understand the basics of what we need to do as drone pilots. So I like their system. I like especially the new way with the online. It's a good way to make sure that they're delivering information that we need to know. If you move, you have 30 days to report your new address to the FAA. I think this is a manned pilot license. Like anyone that has a sort of pilot license has to abide by this. So 30 days to report it. So you just go online, type in your new address. They don't want to hear, oh, I moved. That's why you couldn't get in touch with me. They want to be able to get in touch with you. So whatever, that may be a test question. 30 days to report your new address. All right, so here is a sample question. This class is, I have sample questions all throughout. A lot of them are remarkably similar to the actual test questions. Some of them are not, exact, but are representative of the difficulty level and the format that the tests will throw at you. So the good news is the FAA gives you only 3 choices to pick from. So if you have to guess, you got a 1/3 chance of getting it. Most of the time, there are 4 choices, and that would be 25%. So only 3 options. So that's good. The bad news is they're all pretty difficult, right? You have to think about all of them. Like sometimes you can eliminate one, and now you're down to a 50-50 if you have to completely guess. But they're all tricky. They all have some little bent to them. You have to really kind of slow down. That's my advice to my students. Slow down. I don't ever hear about anyone who ran out of time and couldn't finish the test. Slow down, read each one, think about it. If you don't know it, maybe you skip it and you go back to it. That's what I recommend. Maybe it'll jog something, your memory, in the next 20 minutes while you're finishing up the test or doing other questions, or you don't have the time pressure because you're like, okay, I have an hour left. I've only got these 3 questions to figure out. So the pressure's off, but read through them individually, like on their own, and use your scratch paper and kind of write it out. That helps me. So that's what I recommend. So here, according to 14 CFR Part 48. So when you see that, don't worry about it. It's like, according to, in your mind, just go FAA regs. According to FAA regs, because we're not going to memorize all those different parts. When would a small UA owner or drone pilot or drone owner not be permitted to register? So when can they not register their drone, right? So right off the bat, a little bit tricky, a little bit of a curveball. When can they register? When can they not register it? So be aware of that. A, the owner is less than 13 years of age. So you got a 12-year-old trying to, that seems right to me, right? That's when I could not register it. B, all persons must register their small UA, unmanned aircraft, drones. All persons must register their drones. Well, we said that if it's less than 55 pounds, or I'm sorry, 0.55 pounds, you don't have to register it. So that's not true, not necessarily true. C, if the owner does not have a valid United States driver's license. There's nothing in the regs about driver's licenses. You don't need a U.S. driver's license to fly a drone. That's just not true. So don't pick that one. So the answer here is A, the owner. When can you not register your drone? If you're less than 13 years of age. They're saying, you have to be 13 years. That's what it's getting at. All right, next we're going to move on to maximum speed and altitude.